to go
Sending
live.
data. Oh no, it might be going. Yeah, we'll give it a minute and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's here. It says sending data, so it looks like we're going.
Yeah. It's
Let
kind
me
of
open up a little
it's kind of weird that
VPN
it
thing.
takes it's kind of weird that it takes a couple of okay, I think I'm live.
Nice. Let me open up a private window and see what
We are
happens.
live. It's
G'day, everybody.
so generous of us to give people something to look at when there's no fighting on. Just gotta say
Mate,
that for
who
reals.
wants to watch Cage Warriors when you got Bad Math and Dougie?
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. It's been a while since I've been live. Like I think the last one I did was 302, and I was blitzed off my skull, mate. It was a last minute decision.
Your drink-alongs are a
Mate,
bold move.
I'm retiring them. I'm
You're
retiring them.
retiring them?
Yeah, for
Right,
health
yeah.
reasons, man. I've literally been like, yeah, my body's been destroyed as a result.
I mean,
I've got to take a chill.
it's a lot of drinking. It's a
A
lot
lot
of
of
drinking to do
thinking.
the whole 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah, and I go pretty hard as well.
I
You,
noticed. I know. I've seen. I've seen.
yeah, no, I've got to chill it out, man. It's way too much. How you doing, Chad Hero? How you doing, brother?
G'day,
Most
Chat
easy.
Hero. All right. Now, I've got the link here. I'm just going to post it in my Discord.
Well, do you know what, as well? I just got to realize I should probably post this into Twitter as well for my
There we go.
rabid
Chat Hero, there's no
fan.
trap music, mate. This is a little bit of a different one. This is, it's not just a my stream. It's an our stream. So we're going to do things a little bit differently.
Yeah, what's this trap
Um,
music? What's this trap music reference? I don't get it.
I've started playing music at the start of my streams just while I sort shit out at the start of the stream. So I
Oh,
just have music blaring. And it's from this service that's meant to provide free music to creators. But
mhm.
every single time I do it, I get a warning saying this video is being demonetized. And I'm like,
What are you monetized? Yeah.
no. But the video, I've been approved for monetization,
Yeah, yeah.
like pre-approved for it. So the
Hmm.
videos are there to be monetized when I hit 1,000 subs. And then
I
this
don't
service
think
that I use.
I don't think you need 1,000 subs, because I got an email about this like ages ago, like 9 months ago. I haven't applied for monetization because
Yeah.
I don't really want my videos to have ads on them
Yeah.
for a while. I'm not really a big advocate for that.
You
I'm
can
not
get
putting.
super chats.
Yeah, I still don't. I still think like I don't have enough people active in my chat to be doing that. People can pretty much get their say for free in my channel so far, so
Yeah,
it's
fair enough.
really not worth it.
Fair enough.
But I might wait until I get to 1,000 and then see.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for 500 members from Brutally Honest. For 500 members. Oh, can we click on them? Can I click on the chats?
So who do we? Where are we? Oh, yes, this.
I just wanted to say, okay, you can click on the chats. You're in control of the thing.
Let me have a.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
mate.
you have a play around. I just wanted to talk to the chat or anyone jumping in and listening back to these, because I do know some people like to go and listen back to them. I know if you're coming over from my audience or however the fuck you want to say it, my chat room, whatever, I read every single chat. But because it's me and Bad Math, I figure wankers, what's up, Weston? I think because it's me and Bad Math, I figure we're going to do it like a little bit of both and a little bit differently. So we're going to give like much longer answers or have a much longer conversation, but it's going to be around whatever you guys suggest over here in the chat room. So if we go off for like 10 minutes about a certain topic, just spam it again a bit later in the chat room and we'll pull it up and bring it up on stream. Because I think like it's a much more enjoyable way to have like a bit of a longer conversation between the both of us and involve you guys at the same time rather than just banging through every single chat on the side of the screen. So that's how we're going to be doing this one, boys. It's going to be a little bit different.
It's kind of going to be like a topic based one. So if you've got like specific things you want to talk about, that would be great. But it gets difficult, especially when I go on my long rambles as well. I found we've missed like fucking 40 people calling us wankers.
So feel free to just call us wankers a little bit later when we finish up.
Yeah. Save it for the end. Save the abuse for the end. Yeah.
Oh shit! But thanks guys for joining in. I know it sucks that like there's no MMA this weekend, but as I was saying in the Discord last night, just go back and watch some old fights, boys. Go back and like, if you're a true MMA fan, fucking Fight Pass for $10 a month is like the best service in the world. It is so good. You can just go back and pull up any fight or pull up like your local regional shit. Like I caught up on Eternal this weekend, you know, and Cage Warriors is happening right now over in Europe. So yeah, there's still plenty to watch. And
There's
always
fun.
if we can kill UFC and just make one the dominant force in MMA, alhamdulillah, brothers. Alhamdulillah. All right, where do you want to start, man? Where do you want to start off?
Well, I've got a few little. I did preload a few. I guess the first thing we should probably talk about is Gary and MVP getting announced. What do you reckon about that one?
Finally, yeah.
Finally, I'm surprised it came as quickly as it did. I thought if it was going to get made, it might be, you know, it could be 304 with them both being, you know, British, UK, Irish fighters.
Yeah.
It being on 303 was a little bit of a surprise, but I guess they're looking for that Connor attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you reckon of the fight itself? Are you happy it got made, and how do you reckon it goes?
The fight itself, I'm happy it finally got made. I'm happy that a fight with Ian Gary got made, either with JDM or with MVP. Personally, I would have preferred a JDM matchup because I think the MVP matchup is going to be a little bit counter-strikey, a little bit boring. I know, like, there's going to be some people that are going to enjoy that. Like Chad Hero in chat is going to bloody love like a nice technical fight. Yeah. So I'm happy that it got made. I think it proves to us that Colby Covington is a complete bitch.
Oh yeah.
And as for it
already know.
Yeah, I know, but now it's like if anyone was left out there was a single Colby Covington fan, consider yourself off the train.
Yeah.
As for it being on 303, not 304, to me, 304 is a nice card already. It seems like a decent. I mean, no pay-per-view is worth $90, but it seems like as good as a pay-per-view can get in today's economy. And 303 was looking like dog shit. So quite frankly, it needed a character like Ian Gary and a dance partner for Ian Gary and MVP. They're like a match made in heaven, really. They're like the same person.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of happy that the fight got made as well. I mean, I am surprised it was a little bit sooner than expected, but it's like you said, man, 304 is already stacked, and that 303 card was looking not great. They seem to do this with Connor cards quite a lot, where they don't really stack them because they know that they're going to get the eyeballs anyway.
Yeah, but, every person at the pub is going to watch Connor.
No, 100%. But that card was weak even before we had certain dropouts and things happening. So adding this to the card, I think was necessary, and I'm personally excited for it. Who do you think is going to win it?
I think MVP is going to win it. I think with their styles being exactly the same, pretty much. MVP is probably a little bit more rangy than Gary, but they're like essentially they're both stand-up counter strikers. I've seen Gary clipped on the chin a couple of times, you know, and with MVP's ability to dance at that range and then do that lunging in forward, it's almost like a step forward jab that he does.
Yeah.
I can see that catching Gary and accumulating as the fight goes on. And because MVP's had so long in the game, it's almost like he's been in these kind of fights 100 times before, where this might be Gary's first chance at that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Kevin Holland sort of a fight, where like we're both playing the same game, you know, and you saw Wonderboy lean on his experience in that fight to win it. What do you reckon?
Again, it's a really close one because I have the same concerns about. While I'm happy that the fight got made, I do have concerns about this one in the same way that I would have had if they paired MVP with Wonderboy. You know, and I feel like it could be very tactical and very slow and very twitchy, and I'm kind of feeling. I've gone back and forth on this one. I want MVP to win. You know, even despite the fact that I'm of Irish descent, I always say this. I don't consider Gary one of my own. I think he might win, though. I think Gary might edge it.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, it's one of those fights, mate. Miguel Productions wants to see one of your salty takes. It
Oh,
is one of those fights where it's almost like a coin flip, you know, because they're so similar. It is like one strike is going to end this fight from either way. And what makes like what we all do, you know, because like you guys in the chat, you know, I'm sure a lot of you are gamblers. It's not just us, the shit talkers, that decided to turn on a microphone and a camera. You're all gamblers as well. So you're all like analyzing the fight the way that you watch it. And what we do together as fans when we analyze a fight is the classic styles make fights. And when they both have the exact same style, what are you left with? You're left with like age and forward pressure and experience. And age can go both ways. Age brings experience, whereas with Gary, it might bring a stronger chin, might bring a little bit more cardio.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially. But again, it's like you said, like Gary's chin does concern me a little bit because he got cracked by Kenan Song at one point and he looked like he was in serious danger. And if MVP hits you the same way, you know, you're going down. So I don't know. It's interesting from the fact that like the winner, obviously we win either way because the winner's going to jump up the rankings and they've got interesting fights to come, which is why I didn't like the Stephen Wonderboy fight with MVP because it's like if Stephen Wonderboy Thompson wins, we've basically fucked two dudes at the same time.
Yeah, we're not giving Stephen Thompson another title shot.
No, and then you're basically cooking MVP. So we'd need MVP to win in that situation, and it's not a guarantee with the way they match up. So it's more of an interesting fight for the fact that it means something. Whoever wins it is going to progress on.
Yeah, they're the best fights in the UFC. You got either a meaning something fight or two veterans just slugging it out for fun fight. And you know what? Over here, from Miguel, he goes, bad math. I think Jack Della Maddalena is going to wait. Is this the one? Oh yeah, Jack Della Maddalena is going to KO Shavkat up against the cage. What do you think?
You know how I feel about Shavkat. My issue with Jack remains the same. I think like the biggest issue I've got with him, I love his body work. I think he's got best boxing or best hands really in the welterweight division, but I don't like how he deals with matters when he's on the ground. And even though we've talked about his takedown defense multiple times, and I think his takedown defense is way underrated, I think Shavkat's going to be able to get him down. And then once he gets him down, he's going to be like a turtle in a shell. He's not going to be able to get back up. So I would favor Shavkat in that situation. But it's another interesting one. If he can keep it standing, I think his stand-up is better than Shavkat's, and I think he could potentially hurt him. But I'd favor Shavkat. I'd favor Shavkat against pretty much anyone in that weight class. I think for me,
have you heard the news of Shavkat potentially ducking JDM? He doesn't want it in Australia. So apparently it's not enough time between his last fight to go to Australia. He wants it in Abu Dhabi, but not in Australia.
What? So when's the Abu Dhabi card is in? So he's coming back in August, potentially.
Yeah.
Wow, I heard he was out until the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of surprising.
Yeah. So now we got to find a new fight for JDM.
So JDM saying he won't fight him in Abu Dhabi.
JDM wants to fight in Perth. He's a Perth boy.
Right. Of course.
So he's like, and you know, like the Aussies, they're like, look, I'll fight in Perth and then I'll fight in December. Like,
I'm not sure if it's necessarily a duck because Shavkat doesn't really seem like that kind of guy, and I know that he's obviously recovering from surgery as well. And if he's saying he'll take the fight in Abu Dhabi, then it's kind of more of a sidestep than a duck.
Yeah.
It's kind of trying to get things in his, and I don't blame him.
I feel like they'll match up together anyway.
Oh, that fight's going to happen sooner or later. The question is, who do you give JDM now? Like who's available?
Usman?
That would be great.
Usman is just this name sitting there for a contender to come and take. And I don't mean that to like be like he's an easy win by any means. I mean that as in he hasn't fought this year. He is that name, that big name. Like if you want to step up and make yourself a number one contender, there's like one table to unzip it and slap it on, and that's Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he seems very content in kind of. I mean, I find his pod with that little midget. What's his name again? Henry Cejudo.
Cejudo,
little troll. Yeah,
Cejudo? Yeah.
Yeah,
There's the saltiness. There's the
yeah,
saltiness we
it's
want to
coming out.
see.
Coming out. It took a little while, but we're here.
You're not
Yeah, I don't,
sober, are you?
man. This is. I think that's why it took so long to come out. I'm sober as a judge, mate.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll take my liver's taken a right kicking in the last 6 months. I need to give it a little break.
I mean, you were in Thailand. That's going to happen.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Yeah. That was.
Can you? I know we're like this chat is definitely going a lot better than last time, so we're already improving. Can you do polls on your end with the chat?
Let me see. This is something we should have maybe looked at.
We should have 100%. But hey,
This
the
is the
second
thing,
one was better than the first.
We're not
The
really
third one
planners.
will be better than the second.
We're not really planners.
Right.
You know what you're getting out here.
Yeah.
I can't see anything because I know you can do it in YouTube, and I assumed you could do
Yeah.
everything.
That's all right. We can't. It's all good. It just
I'm
popped
gonna
into my head.
assume we can't, or we can, but I just don't know how to do it.
That's whatever. We'll sort it out.
That would be we'll sort it out next time for sure. Probably set them up. Poll should definitely be a thing. But yeah, I'm excited for where the welterweight division is kind of shaping up.
Yep.
And it seems like we're finally getting some movement, which is important. I mean, if Shavkat's going to be back, that's great news. I think who do you think would win in a fight between Usman and JDM? How do you see that one? How do you see that one shaking out?
I see Chad here on the side here. He goes, Doug won't like to bear this, but Usman would beat JDM by decision easily. It's funny. There have been people who are talking about how, and you know, I'm going to do some bad MMA maths here. There have been people talking about how JDM might be the worst matchup for Leon Edwards because of the pressure and going forwards. And you look at Usman versus Leon Edwards, and Usman has sort of lost a step in his takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
However, having said that, Gilbert Burns was able to pressure JDM to such a point where he was this close to winning, like it was a split decision. You know, like if JDM hadn't gotten that finish, who would have won that fight on the judges' scorecards? Is Kamaru Usman still today in 2024? Is he still a better wrestler than Gilbert Burns? I would say he probably is. So Usman versus JDM. Again, it's crazy to see like how good welterweight is going because everyone is like here right now. I mean, if I had to pick between JDM and Kamaru Usman, obviously JDM all fucking day, baby. JDM all day, he's gonna win. He'll sleep him. Yeah, all bias aside, mate.
Yeah.
But shit, it wouldn't be an easy day in the office.
I don't really like the cuts for Usman anymore. I don't love him. I think like with his knees, you know, bit screwed up the way they are as well. I don't love the cuts for him anymore. And I think he might be considering just now that Adesanya doesn't have the belt at middleweight anymore. There's an open line for Usman to, and he looked very good at middleweight.
He did.
Look good enough. Like you can definitely.
Who do you think he fights next? If you're Kamaru Usman's manager, right? We gotta fight this year. You cannot call yourself a number one contender in two divisions and sit out for an entire year. So where are we? We're in June. You see the cards that are lined up. Where are we going?
Yeah. I would look at who wins between Paulo Costa and Sean Strickland, and I'd probably go for that.
Yeah,
I'd probably go for that because I think he absolutely destroyed Strickland at welterweight.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely, you know, just embarrassed him. So and now that Sean Strickland is a name in middleweight, he could see that as this is an opportunity for me to beat somebody I know that I can beat. Also somebody who's very highly ranked. And you've got the same issues with Paulo Costa as well, who there's holes in the game. If you're a very skilled, well-rounded fighter like Usman is, you could see Paulo Costa as definitely a nice avenue to get through. So I would probably I'd say, right, Sean Strickland's fairly active anyway. If he comes through Costa relatively unscathed, you're very likely to get a 3-4 month turnaround from him. If Costa wins, it kind of changes things because not the most active, and you're probably looking towards the end of the year for that. But they're both winnable matchups for him. So if I was him, I'd probably go with one of those two.
Yeah. So leave the old division behind, charge forward in a new one.
There's no point. He's lost to Leon twice. The only and even if Bilal somehow manages to beat him, I don't really see them making that fight straight away. Usman would probably have to win another one at welterweight anyway.
Yeah, too much grinding out. So do the Aljo path,
Right.
form a new.
Yeah, and make a new narrative for yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's he could be amazing at middleweight is not very skilled.
No, and it's very, what's the right word? Active. Like, it's all over the place right now. And Weston, you're absolutely right, mate. I am lucky. Jamie's actually doing the meal prep for the week right now in the kitchen. So God bless her. If you ask a JDM fan, he's the worst matchup for everyone on the planet. He isn't as good as people say. Chad Hero, can we get a mod in here to
Chad Hero going for the going for the neck. That was personal. That was.
Can we get a ban, mate? This is
straight for the. Yeah, they need to add a ban feature to restream for sure. This is awful.
It's not acceptable. What do we got else in the chat?
Let's have a look down. I feel like everyone's got Connor's name in their mouth these days. It's not really it's low hanging fruit, isn't it?
It's Connor season again. I messaged you this on Twitter last night when I was heading off, and they announced the press conference was going to be in Ireland, right? And to me, instantly, I was just like, this is 2015 UFC again. Like, when was the last time we did a regional press conference just for fun? I mean, not take the pandemic out of it. Even before the pandemic, we might have gotten a couple down in Melbourne when it was Izzy versus the fucking legend, who I can't believe I need to delete my channel, Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva. But like, shit, we haven't had like a good, fun regional press conference since it was Connor season back in the day. And this is the thing that like some of the newer, not to like talk down to anyone in the chat or like anyone listening back to this, but if you joined MMA during the pandemic, which was years ago now, like, so you've been a hardcore MMA fan for like 3 years, you know, I'm just saying, being in UFC, being an MMA fan when it's Connor season is just a completely different vibe. It feels like we're like making a movie rather than like watching a sport. It's a completely different vibe.
Bro, 100%. And I'll tell you what, do you know what I miss as well? A lot of people don't agree with me on this one, but do you remember when they used to have presses where they had every fucker on the card was there? They had like rows and rows of people. That's when you used to get the best Connor sound bites, because you wouldn't just be fucking around with the person he was fighting. You'd have about 6 people trying to have a pop at him, and he'd just be firing off on everyone.
Yeah, and the UFC 300 press conference could have been like that if they didn't need to give every single person their 10 minutes. Like, if I wish we would go back to the way we used to announce pay-per-views, where Dana would be like, this is the entire card, not one fight at a time. This is the entire card. And then you do the press conference the weekend out, and like you said, you had every single fighter on the stage, because you're not just, when the UFC are building a pay-per-view, it's not just the main event that's happening. They're usually putting the number one contender or a couple of ranked guys in the same division lower on the card. And it helps build that narrative between the contenders and the person fighting for the championship when they're going off at each other. Because otherwise, all you get is the same question like, hey, Dana, are you happy to be back in Louisville? Like, no one gives a fuck about that. No one gives a fuck about that.
Yeah.
And the fighter being like, I trained really hard. I can't wait to show up on Saturday night. Great. We know. You're in a sports entertainment company. Don't forget the entertainment part, the second half of your fucking job.
Yeah. So I think do you know how they're doing? Is it just going to be him and Chandler, or are they doing like a? I assume that not everyone's going to be there because it's in Dublin. So
I mean, if you don't have Ian Gary, what are you doing? If you don't have Ian Gary,
yeah, you've got to have Ian Gary there. I think he's ready to crawl out of his hole and enjoy the press conference again. Because I don't think MVP is going to go after him for the cuckery and the rest of it. So he probably feels safe to come out. It'd be great if MVP did that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. MVP, like, bless him. I've got nothing against him. I really don't. But he set the narrative of like, you know, shit talking only goes so far, boys. You know, we can't shit talk too much. And he set that narrative hard when he came into the UFC. So if you're going to, like, you're either going to be one of the players playing the bullshit game or you're not. And I think when he came into the UFC and was like, let's not go too hard, it would be very disingenuous of him to go out onto the press conference stage and be like, Ian Gary, you're a fucking cuck, mate.
The thing is, though, yeah, what I like about MVP is he was kind of known for doing stuff, like after fights, like throwing the Pokeball and
Yes. Yeah.
like he's more known for in cage trolling than like,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is a new spin on things because you don't really see that often.
Yeah. No, I like it, and he should bring that into the UFC. Because like
Yeah,
as
true.
someone who like, why would I watch a Bellator card? I want to be entertained. So like as someone who is not as familiar with MVP, bring it into the UFC so us and the wider audience can see it. What do you guys think about this? Reporters only asking lame questions like that to impress their families and say they are a real reporter. You're an MMA guy. Be trash. We love it. I mean, I think with ESPN and Disney coming into the MMA space and with the sport being so cleaned up, there are a lot of examples like that, Chad Hero, where we sort of forget that like this sport is a hyper masculine activity. It is cage fighting at its core. It is go in there in your underwear and remove this man from consciousness or break his arm. And all of the Disneyfying and getting it on ESPN sort of, they get very angry at when characters like Sean Strickland pop up and when the fighters
Yeah.
act like fighters. But this is cage fighting, ladies and gentlemen. What did you expect?
Yeah, it's like they didn't do their research about what they were buying. Like
Yeah.
there's been some it's not a very Disneyfied product, is it? Or a very but
No.
it is, it's weird. It's not something you can really complain about. Like when people are, like you said, in their underwear trying to rip each other's heads off, when that's the core of it, I think anything
Yeah.
should be allowed to go. You should be allowed to say what you want pretty much. And I think it adds to things. I think it makes it more exciting. Did you see this mixed Molly Whoppery vid about Holloway and Gaethje? Because I haven't seen it yet. And I'm a big I used to watch mixed Molly Whoppery's videos quite a lot. I haven't seen too much of him lately, but is it something that you managed to catch?
I've never watched a single mixed Molly Whoppery video.
Oh, his stuff is sick.
The community is all over. I hear the memes. I know of him through the memes.
Yeah, no, his stuff is amazing. He kind of talks like what is it? I don't know if it's Brooklyn or what the fuck it is. Like a Brooklyn
New York
Italian. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I got to watch them. I haven't watched any of it. So, I mean, maybe that's the first one I'll watch.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched stuff of his in a little while, but his stuff is usually great. He was one of the first guys that I jumped in when I started watching MMA YouTube stuff, so he's pretty good.
Sorry, Weston. I first started when I was a complete newbie. When I was a complete newbie, I would just listen to Chael Sonnen and ESPN.
Ooh.
Oh shit! It was before ESPN. It was UFC Unfiltered or something, the podcast they used to do with Matt Serra. So it was that. Yeah, it was that and Chael Sonnen. That was all of my UFC knowledge. And then I was like, Chael Sonnen is a shill.
Yeah, I can't listen to Chael Sonnen. Like he does my head in. He's another guy. I've got a love-hate relationship with that guy. Like I used to watch his stuff as well. It's like with Ariel Helwani, where it's just hate now. Like I just can't fucking watch. Like there's certain guys I just can't watch anymore. I'd rather watch myself.
I think it's good I'd rather watch myself. Ariel's good because you get like a broader view of like the whole MMA landscape, but you do have to just filter it through the idea of like he hates the UFC and he's attacking the UFC. But through that, you get to see everything else that's going on outside of the UFC. Like this PFL situation, it's very interesting how Ariel just wants to completely like duck all of that completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
React now, start a 10th. We're not watching a video and trying to read chat and talk to each other, Weston.
I promise you, Weston, the next time you talk to me, I would have watched it. And I'll
I'll go and watch it after this.
I'll have something sporty to say about it, I'm sure. But he's really good. I have to say the guy is legit good. Like I do like him. So yeah, for the next one, I guess we could discuss this one.
Let's play ahead.
Roundtree out.
What you've done here. I like what you've done here.
I'm figuring this out as I'm going. This is my first time using this, and I'm buzzing, mate. I got a little restream boner right now. Fucking
got the fizz.
Got the fizz. Yeah. So I was gonna say, like he obviously Roundtree being out and Allberg being in. What do you think about that? Are you happy about the change of opponent? What do you think about the whole supplement situation? How do you feel about the whole?
Mm-hmm,
How do you feel about the
mm-hmm.
whole thing?
Okay, so the fight being up, the new fight, I think is a more exciting matchup. I think, like we were saying, and you talked about this a lot with Khalil Roundtree, sort of, you know what you're going to get. You sort of know the matchup that you're going to get. Is Khalil Roundtree the most skilled guy in the division? No. Is Jamal Hill taking this to get a win back in the column? Yes.
That's what it felt
But
like.
now you've got Carlos Ulberg. Not new, but untested in deep waters of the division. And as for some of your guys that might not have seen my video, we've got Jamal Hill, who I think was sort of propelled into the title picture against his shot, with his shot against Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
I think he was ranked number 7th when he got that shot against Glover Teixeira. So he really did skip that like meat grinder of the top 5. And now you've got Carlos Ulberg, who is a city kickboxing stand-up rangy striker, going in against Jamal Hill, who is just being beaten by a rangy striker, Alex Pereira, and is going to want to prove that I can fucking win a striking game against anybody. It's a very, very like Jamal Hill's career to me is on the line in this fight. We're either going to be saying there's levels to this shit, or oh man, he was. Did we just forward check a champion?
Yeah. The thing is, it's like you mentioned. I feel like, and I spoke about this with Mike, who's one of my subscribers at great length. This feels like all the pressure is on. It feels like a kind of a lose-lose for Hill in a way, where Ulberg's basically got like a free shot because he's much lower ranked. He's untested, as you said, and I think a lot of people aren't expecting. Well, maybe not a lot, but I'd say maybe the majority of people are expecting Hill to probably win this fight. I like the odds on this one. I think Ulberg is like a plus 250.
If you like the odds on this, and everyone in chat, if you are a gambler, I would put your bets in now. Mo, what's up, brother? Good to see you. I put your bets in now. I saw a Twitter poll on this yesterday, and the poll dropped all the way down to a 50-50 chance. I think people, MMA fans like yourself, are going to be like, oh, I like the odds on this. I like how untested Ulberg is, and they're going to start putting money on Ulberg. And then what I think we're going to see is the King of Salt, Jamal Hill, get so fucking angry at the money line come press conference time. And it's just going to add to the pressure for him. And also Jamal Hill's quick turnaround against Khalil Roundtree, like you spoke about earlier, when he first called out Khalil Roundtree, was I just want to get back in the cage and get my activity going again. This is not that fight now. He's gone from I just want to get back in the cage to fuck.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. This feels a lot more dangerous. Like, I definitely feel like this is an upgrade. I really do. I just think I know that a lot of people tend to refer to when Carlos Ulberg lost to Kennedy Nzechukwu a little while ago. I think it was like 6 fights ago. But if you go back and watch that fight, like Ulberg was whooping his ass for the majority of that fight, and then kind of gassed out trying to finish it, and then completely drained the tank and then got finished. Which is what you do when you're a rookie. When you kind of you get a bit excited, you think you're about to finish the fight, and you don't have the sense or the ring awareness or the cage the cage experience to take your time a little bit, pick your shots. He blazed in and it cost him. But like I said, since then, he's been absolutely fucking people up. I think he's had 5 fights since then, and he's got 4 of them within first round finishes.
Yeah, when I did like a touch of research when I went and made that video, and he's been on fire. You're absolutely right. He's been on fire ever since then. And yeah, you need to have fights like that where you gather the experience in the cage. And that was probably very good for him, because I'm sure the boys at CKB were telling him, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to feel. You actually go in there, and when you're a young stud like Chad, absolute Chad of a man, fucking sleeping everybody, you're like, yeah, whatever, coach, I got this. I'm built different, mate. You actually feel it, like you said. You actually do your like in cage Kegels and learn like, oh, I need to pace myself here before I finish too early. And he's got that now. So it's almost like all of the pressure is off Ulberg going into this fight, which is the way Jamal was meant to feel going in against Khalil. So Jamal does not get enough credit for like how much he tries to do like for the fans and with the fans. Like, he rushed to get back into UFC 300
Yeah.
Well, number one, big opportunity for himself, but he did rush. Other fighters were turning down UFC 300.
Mm-hmm.
And for this one, with the change-up, he didn't have to say yes to an Allberg change-up.
No,
He
he
didn't have
didn't.
to say yes to that. So, good on him, but you're going to get flatlined, mate.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned for him in this one as well. Like I'm not ready to like say that Hill was a fraud yet.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's like you said, the rush back to 300 was a mistake. He probably got well compensated for it.
Mm.
But like this one feels especially dangerous. But at the same time, I don't think Hill's gonna come rushing in like a fucking mongoloid, like Menafield
No,
didn't. I mean, that was partly because of that. I was like, as impressive as the win was, I kind of lay that at the feet of Menafield for being that stupid as well.
that was his name, Benefield. Yeah, all I could see when I was
What he was thinking.
talking about it, making my video, was the rush. I couldn't fucking remember his name to save my life. Yes, Benefield.
Menafield, yeah.
I don't know, and it was so embarrassing, for me, because I'd always talk about these CKB guys. They're such rangy strikers, love counter striking. So if you just apply good forward pressure, very much like a JDM or a Sean Strickland, just good forward, clean, high guard, picture a Dustin Poirier, high guard, defensive pressure, march forward, you will beat a CKB guy. I mean, every single Dan Hooker loss is just straight down the pipe, just keep pressuring him. And so I said that in my prediction video, and then fucking Menafield pressures and runs forward.
But that wasn't even pressure. That was like head down, run in. Like it was. Oh my god! It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
It was Juliana Pena was their coach, as his coach.
Yeah. The Juliana Pena approach to striking. The bloody hell. Yeah. So I don't know. I think Hill's going to be a lot more composed. I know that. I think Mohammed's saying he disagrees with me here.
What was up, Mo? Which one?
I think, yeah, so he's saying he thinks Hill's ego is so strong he will rush in to prove he's a striker just like Pereira. I don't think he's going to do that.
Okay, nice. Maybe.
I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he'll rush in.
No, because the CKB guys, Mo, think of themselves as the high mind of fighting. They're the educated fighter. So I don't think they're going to rush in, man. I think he's going to stand. I think he is going to play CKB's game. Stand at range, picky shots. And I think Jamal is going to be like, I can play your game better than you can. Remember, everybody, before the Pereira fight, he was talking about how he was going to smoke Pereira because he did kickboxing for years before MMA. Jamal's ego is unseen thus far in the UFC. And for him to get knocked out by what might be the best kickboxer in the world, you should be like, well, he is one of the best kickboxers the world's ever seen. It's not that crazy that I got knocked out by him. But no. I don't think that's good enough for Jamal.
You think he needs one more smattering to really get the message, yeah?
Yeah, maybe I'm the third
out
or
one more
fourth
time.
best kickboxer ever. I don't have to be the best kickboxer in the world. But fighters, egos, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I like this. I like this take by Chad. I'm not saying that Hill's going to beat him by playing his game. I'm more thinking that he will be patient, but it still might not be enough. I still think Allberg's going to be younger and fresher and less, not younger. I mean, I think that they're around a similar age, but he's going to have that confidence behind him. And I just think, like I said, it feels like a free shot, which is very dangerous for Hill. It just feels like Allberg can go out there and do whatever he wants because no one's really, he's fighting way higher up the rankings than he would have expected to at this stage.
Yeah. And that can take the pressure off a fighter or put it all on there. I think it'll take the pressure off him, to be honest. I think it'll take the pressure off him.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So, Strickland and Costa. Let's talk about that.
Shit. You go first.
I think Strickland's going to piece him up for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah. I think that jab is going to be very, very effective. And I don't think Costa, I love Costa, the Twitter king. I love following what he does on there. He's extremely funny. And the thing is, he's a very exciting fighter. I don't think he's a very good fighter.
No, he's just fun to watch.
He's fun technically. To watch. I don't think he's technically that good. And I think I expect Strickland to just, yeah. I am a bit. The fact that it's a 3 rounder is obviously interesting. I think that will play a
Mm,
factor as well because it allows Costa to maybe apply more gas than he would if it was a longer fight, which we know he doesn't have. I
mm.
still think Strickland will handily. I can see it being a shutout, really.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. If it was a 5 rounder, I could potentially see that Strickland winning a shutout. The 3 rounds, I'll never give a man named Lady mine. No one's talking about this. Give him his flowers. Call that
Bro,
man.
so is that what Allberg calls himself? Ladies' night.
Does he really?
Is that
William,
Allberg
what's
we're
up, man?
talking
Good to
about?
see you. Yeah, is that chat? Is that Allberg calls
Is that
himself Ladies'
Allberg?
Night? Holy shit, that's another the pleasure man. That's just fucking.
Yeah, that's creepy. That is.
Oh,
That guy's a creepy little pervert.
the
That
pleasure man
that
is
Turcolage, yeah.
how you
I've,
cannot
I've,
be putting
I've
on
talked about him so many times. Where when they're interviewing the guy, they'll say, "So you're looking forward to this fight?" And he's like, "Well, the ladies like to," and he just goes way off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He goes straight into a pervy comment where like there was no link to it. He doesn't segue. He goes fucking off road straight into a pervy comment. It's like he's not
You
listening.
notice Nina. You notice
Yeah.
Nina Drama never interviewed him. She didn't want to go anywhere
Oh,
fucking
hell
near that.
no.
Sanko never
Hell no.
interviewed him. All the
Hell no.
ladies in the UFC. He calls himself the Black Jag now. Little bit better. Little bit better.
See, I made some comments about Ulberg in a video I made about him saying that he seems like a bit of a, somebody who's like very, very, because he's so like outrageously good looking and chatty,
Yeah.
he's got no game. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
kind of got that Luke Rockhold kind of vibe where he's like, you can tell like women will look over the bar at him and be like, damn, that's a beefcake over there. And they saunter over
Yeah.
to him and then he just says something really
Dead.
off-brand and creepy. And they
Yeah.
just throw the drink
But
in
that's
his
like
face.
that's a hot girl that has no personality. Like you see a stunner,
Yeah,
you
I
go
said
talk to
that
her.
in my video, and I got absolutely cooked to that. I had people coming in being like, "You're jealous, like you have no idea
They've
what he's
never
like."
played the game. They've never played the game.
They've never played the game. And then the guy called me, what's that actor's name again? Steve Buscemi. He said, "This Steve Buscemi over here is jealous." I'm like, wow, that one cut to the bone. I'm not gonna lie, that one
Mate,
hurt.
the truth hurts. The truth
The
hurts
truth
the most.
hurts. It's like when I got called Ellen Page. I'm still thinking about that. That still hurts. That still burns. Yeah, some comments just stick with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
mate.
this is
Jesus Christ.
the girl. Do you spit or comment thing was exact? Do you spit or swallow comment was exactly what I said in my video. See, exactly the Luke Rockhold special. Like
Oh, fucking Luke Rockhold. I went, mate. We'll get back to
anyway,
Costa
sorry,
Strickland.
yeah, sorry. Back to
We'll get
Costa.
back to with Luke Rockhold. That second fight with Michael Bisping, when he was just standing in the cage looking so like, I don't even want to be here. I don't
Yeah.
even need to be in this title fight. And then Bisping just slept him.
Chinned him, yeah. Left hook Larry.
Fucking one of my earliest, happiest moments in watching MMA. I was like, this fucking cunt. Look at him. He just stand there like he doesn't give a fuck. Shit. All right. Costa Strickland.
Yeah.
Legit, when I was talking about making a predictions video for it, I was just going to flip a coin. With the 3-round thing, in my mind, the first round goes to Costa straight away.
Yeah, I'd say so as well.
First round goes to Costa. Sean Strickland, if it's messy pressure coming at him, that Philly shell only takes him so far. And if you crowd the kicker, then you lose a lot of that range that he likes to keep you at to put that jab there. And Paulo Costa is going to have that Jared Cannonier DDP forward pressure that was applied on Strickland. So I really do see this as being one of those classic fights where Sean just clearly loses on forward pressure and accumulative damage. But the Sean fans go, the jab, and it's a very, very close split decision down the middle to Paulo Costa that we fucking argue about. Like we're still arguing about Strickland versus Cannonier and Strickland versus DDP.
Yeah,
like
that's not a bad
you
shot.
can only win so many points with a jab. And if you come forward, the judges are going to be like even striking, forward pressure. Costa landed one good head kick that didn't rock Strickland, but he had to really move backward and readjust. That's how I see it playing in my head.
It's not a bad shout. Again, it is a bit of a. It does feel like a little bit of a coin toss, and I guess that's what makes it so exciting. I just think I just think Costa's not that good. I just think he's not that
No, I
technical.
agree.
And even though Strickland is he's got his limitation. I mean, he's very one note. But it's just he's been in those situations now where he's been in title fights. He's been, you know how they kind of say that those situations kind of level you up a little bit.
You get 80% better once you win a belt.
I don't know. I just
now the mindset thing of Strickland, right? Do you think he wants to win this, or do you think he's much more happy being one of those fighters that accepts a loss and plays the victim online? Like, I know I won that one, you guys. They just don't like me because the judges are liberals. You know, like, is he really trying to bite down and win every single fight?
The thing is, yeah, he's overachieved now. I don't think. I think in his mind, I don't think he ever expected to get to that championship level.
No. I mean,
Like,
him and Curtis are best mates. And Curtis has quite openly said, like, I'm never going to be a champ. Mm-hmm. And Curtis has the same attitude. Like, when he loses a fight, he won the fight. It's the Nate Diaz attitude. I won that fight. If it was a real fight, I would have won that fight. The judges, the belt, the sport, none of that shit matters. And that's Sean Strickland to me. And I think with his style, you need to be trying to win. You really, really need to be trying to win the fight. Like Adesanya and Leon Edwards, these people who are winning on points are pretty much keeping score of the fight in their head while they're fighting it and making sure that they're winning. Just doing enough to win. I don't know if Sean and Chris Curtis do that.
No, again, it's a fair shout. I don't. It's a. Again, this is what makes the fight so interesting. I was so glad when it was booked. Like, I think it's the right fight for both of them right now. And that's the thing. It's like with Costa, it's like he's going to keep getting these chances just because all of his fights are exciting. And I think the fact that, like, I can see a very strong case for that. The fact that pressure might be telling, and Strickland doesn't love when he's on the back foot as much. That could be interesting.
Costa applied a lot of good forward pressure against Whittaker. He really had to Whittaker had to pull every trick out of the bag to stay alive in that fight. Plus, we're not used to seeing Costa active. Like, are we seeing did his contract negotiations finally get sorted out? He seems to have finally moved closer to the apex, so he's actually saving money instead of spending it. I don't know. It just seems like we're in a new. Costa's like, fuck, I'm 32 or however old. How old is Costa? I feel like he's like 31, 32. Like, Costa's like, this is it. This is it.
I've got to act now, or
yeah, this is my shot. Otherwise, I'm just a meme. I'm either Paulo fucking Costa or I'm Dylan Dennis.
Yeah, I think he wants to shake off that ducking out bullshit as well, because he's kind of getting, as much of a troll as he is, I imagine that the majority of his comments have been, all right, we're funny, just fucking fight now. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
We're getting sick of this now. Like, just fight. And I think he's obviously taken notice of that, and hence the activity's been really, really good.
I think if you're a meme lord, you're pretty socially aware, like social media aware of who you are. So
he definitely is. He definitely is aware that he gets some of the abuse that's coming his way. You know, he seems very active on social media, and he seems to be reacting to that for sure.
So I don't know. I think we're going to see a new Costa, which is dangerous for Strickland. Dangerous. I would, if I was a betting man, I'd stay away from that one.
What are the odds on that one? I haven't checked them.
That's a good question. I don't like reading the odds from Australia because we do it very differently. Everyone does like a plus minus system, and we do a dollar system. So I could say Costa's like $1.25, and everyone would be like,
all right.
Yeah. And then if I go to DraftKings, I need to like go through a fucking VPN and all that shit, because Australia, it's not China. It's not.
Strickland's minus 250. Interesting.
There you go.
That's quite wide, you know.
That's very wide.
That's wide.
Yeah.
So for you, that would be what? So
minus $2.25. So $2.25.
Okay.
And Costa should then be $1. It should be $1.25, and Strickland should be $2.25.
Wouldn't it be the other way? So you're saying $1 makes $2.25. So wouldn't it be the other way around?
Let me have a look. Let me double check. It's like I said, I got out of sports gambling ever since the Yuri Prohaska Glover Teixeira fight. When I was like, I'm gonna win here. I'm gonna win.
Well, you bet on Glover.
Yeah.
You almost got that in the bag. I bet on Glover as well that night. Almost had that in the bag.
And then 30-second guillotine. I was like, I'm out. I'm done. No more MMA betting.
Never again. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Sean Strickland is $1.44.
Okay.
And Paulo Costa is $2.73 on sportsbet.com.
I had a feeling it was the other way around. Yeah. So you're doing it from if I bet $1, I get $2, whatever.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Nice and simple.
That's when I first got into talking about it, and I was talking about the odds with people. I don't understand the minus 250, and everyone's like, you put 100 down, you get 250 back. I'm like, can we just?
No, you see in the UK, it's even more confusing because we use fractions. It's like a half or 6, 4/6, and it's like, fuck this, man. I stopped doing any maths after I left like 6th grade. You know,
I'm a sports bettor. I'm here to drink and feel things out with my gut. I'm not here to do fucking maths, mate.
Fucking math, yeah, that's a headache now. Like I'm not down for that. No, but yeah, like I said, those odds seem a little bit wide to me. I think if you're somebody who's, I wouldn't bet on, even though I think Strickland's going to win the fight, I would not bet on him at those odds. Fuck no.
No. If I was, because it's the co-main event, yeah? It's the co-main event. If you're up on the night and you got some money to throw around, consider it if the odds stay the same. But that would be the only time I would go near it.
No, for a fight like that, I'd probably go. I mean, I think if I will stick this fight probably in my parlay, but I'd be doing a plus over 2.5 on that one all day long. I see that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. Go over the halfway remark.
Yeah, I don't see either of them finishing each other.
No, I mean Strickland's got no finishing power. Costa landed the cleanest head kick you'll ever see on Whitaker. Didn't even finish him. They're two pillow-fisted guys. Yeah. Gotta go over the distance. Yeah.
Perfect.
Told my friends at the kickboxing gym to subscribe to you, trying to get to your goals. Let me know if they do. Thanks, Miguel. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we're doing the 1,000 subs.
You are getting dangerously close to 1,000. I've been slowly plodding along myself. I think I'm at like 7 something now.
Yeah.
There was a time when we were neck and neck, and you've just absolutely been killing it.
Well, you went on holiday, mate, so you took your foot off the gas pedal. But don't worry, I'll go on holiday.
I don't think my foot's ever been on the gas pedal, to be fair. I'm the laziest prick in existence. I just throw the videos up. There's no promotion. I just let it see how it goes. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, even my shorts at the top of everything I do, I wanted to get a cardboard cutout that said "Please subscribe" because I couldn't put my overlay here. I've been going nuts, man. Like what? We're literally like this. We're literally like this. And honestly, we've talked about this before. The sub count is like just the number on the screen. Like when we're here following MMA and watching MMA, we're just making content as it goes anyway. So wherever it lands is where it lands. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm from London, as you can probably tell from the accent, but I moved to I live in Cambridgeshire now. This will mean nothing to Dougie. It's just the middle of fucking nowhere. Think of it as like a little country town.
I went and visited my sister in Lincoln back in the day. So I've been across the pond.
Been around. Yeah. No, when you have kids and stuff, it's just like London's a bit too stabby for me. Do you know what I mean? I like to go to the supermarket without getting stuck up for my wallet every fucking Tuesday. Do that.
Jesus Christ.
I've gone through more wallets than hot meals living in that fucking city.
In London, instead of buying a ticket, you just give your wallet to the closest homeless guy.
No, if you live in London, you got to have a backup wallet at all times.
What is it, Fallout?
Yeah, these kids. It's always some little 14-year-old little prick as well. You're like, bro, I'm 40. I'll kill you. Oh, you got a knife? All right, you go. Fine. Let's just move this along.
Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not. I can go on my app and disable my cards. You didn't win.
Yeah. Can't tell you how many fucking cards I've been through as well. But we'll talk about that another day. Stabby, indeed. Yeah.
What do we got, boys, in the chat?
I was gonna
actually. Bad math is sneaky, man. Bad math is sneaky funny, man. Bad math is sneaky funny.
The next thing I wanted to ask about as well, actually, because we only found out about this recently. was the what do you think about Figgy and Cheeto being announced? And by the way, speaking of underdogs and whatnot, Cheeto is being Cheeto's the underdog in that fight apparently.
Okay, ask that again because I dropped out for a second. So I know we're talking about Cheeto versus Figgy, but what? Ask it again.
Yeah, no, I was saying that. First of all, what do you think of the fight? Because I was I'm quite surprised that Figgy's choosing this route, but I'm also surprised that Figgy's the favorite as well.
Okay. I mean, Cheeto obviously he just fought for a title, so he is sort of that like gatekeeper, leapfrog nameplate. He's that considerable next move up in the fans' eyes. You can see that now. Figgy seems to be locked in, like, I am going to win another fucking title. I am going to win another title. And as for Figueiredo being the favorite, I can see why he is. He was, I mean, neck and neck with Moreno, dominant at times. The move up has gone very, very well for him. With Vera's last fight, he got shut out against Sean O'Malley. So it's very hard to match someone who's been shut out against someone who's charging forward and expect there not to be, expect them not to see Figgy as the favorite. The way that it actually goes, I do think Figgy would win that. I think like the amount of pressure and how strong Figueiredo's striking is going to end up hurting Vera. Is going to end up hurting him quite a lot. And I'm very interested to see what has he lost in his like fighter spirit after getting to the top and being so handedly ass whooped by O'Malley. Because there's a lot of like mental game that goes into fighting, especially when you're over the course of 25 minutes. Like Cheeto Vera is always, I've got to pull this one out of the bag sort of a fighter. Like, all right, you've hit me. Now it's time for me to really fucking show you how that is. And I wonder how his mindset's going to be after being like, well, that was it. That was my title shot.
He got pinated as well. He got absolutely fucking slapped around.
Yep.
Like that was one of the worst 5-round beatings one of the worst I've seen. Like it was bad. I mean, his chin held up really well. I think the issue for this one, I kind of I agree with Chad in that like I'm slightly favoring Cheeto, but like and I think that the money will be with him. I think if you're gonna bet, having him as an underdog seems to make sense. My worry is, and I don't really think Figgy. I know that there's a few in the chat here that seem to think that Figgy's really good at bantamweight. I'm unconvinced with him at this.
That's what I'm talking about. You get a few wins together, and suddenly everyone's like,
"Yeah, I'm not convinced yet." I think the one thing I will say is that the speed factor for Figgy might be what gets him over the line in a 3-rounder. I think
it's 3-rounded. Yeah, I got to remember that. You see them so many times in fivers. The same thing happened with Polo and Strickland. I was like, in my mind, it instantly goes to 5-rounder. 3-rounder. Yeah, keep going about it.
Yeah, so like I would expect the way that I see this fight going is I think that Figgy will outpace him in the first round and edge the first round, and then I can see Cheeto downloaded and taken over from there. I'd be a lot more confident if it was 5 rounds because I just think that Vera will keep going. And the longer a fight goes, he's really good at downloading data. But it's just because I'm unconvinced with Figgy at bantamweight. Yeah, I thought like the fight with Garbrandt was horrible, and he was getting touched a bit. And it's Garbrandt.
That's it. Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I think that Vera's going to be able to walk through whatever Figgy throws at him. And I think it will be that kind of fight where they feed each other up for the first round, where Figgy's speed is there. And I just think Vera's like, he can't hurt me, and then just walks through things and takes him out.
That's a good point. That's a good point. If Figgy lands successfully on Vera in that first, and Vera doesn't feel the pain from it, or he's just like, oh, this is a 125er hitting me. Vera is so used to getting cracked by so many hard shots and like great shot. You know, like Rob Font can hit him with his best fucking shot, and Vera can just be like, whatever. You know, Sean O'Malley can smash his fucking orbital in with a knee, and Vera can just be like, yeah, whatever.
No, that chin, that's elite level chin. I think he might have the best chin ever.
There's a tier list video for you. Best chins in the UFC. Yeah, so if Figgy lands that shot in that first round and Vera's like, this is a 125, this is an O'Malley's knee, there is a chance of a steamrolling coming in the second and the third from Vera. That's a good, Yeah, that's a very good call. That's a very good call.
Yeah. Quick one for Pablo here who's if you go early on if you go and play this back a little bit earlier, we had a whole section on talking about Gary versus MVP. We can quickly summarize. I think Gary's going to slightly edge it, even though I want MVP to win. And Dougie, you obviously went for MVP, getting the job done. So
The experience is going to pull through
if
Pablo.
you go back, we talked about it a lot more in detail. So that might be one.
And thanks for jumping on, Pablo. It's good to see you again, man. What up in Texas? It's good to see everyone from chat here saying hi. It's awesome. And guys, if you're like, you've been around my channel for a bit, subscribe to Bad Maths, subscribe. We do like very similar takes, but he does like really good conversational takes, good like longer length videos where it's a bit of back and forth rather than me just rambling at the screen early in the morning before I go to work. So show Bad Maths some love.
There's something in it for everyone if you watch both of us. Let's put it that way.
That's right. That's right. There's never enough MMA, boys.
Never enough. There's never enough. Yeah, and same for me. If anyone's in my who's in my stream, please jump over and subscribe to Dougie. He's on a mission to get to 1,000, which I believe will happen before the middle of July. I'm confident.
Before my birthday.
Your nice little birthday present. Yeah,
that's the goal, mate. That's the goal. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
For sure. So you've got so are you taking Figgy in that fight?
I'm going to back Figgy. I'm going to back my first call. I'm going to back Figgy. I think he's locked in like, yeah, I'm going to back Figgy. I don't know. It's one of those ones where, when you watch a fight and you're watching it to be like, I'm learning something about this fighter. Like I want to see Vera in his next fight. I want to see where his mindset is at. That Whitaker-Costa fight was very much the same for me. Like I needed to know, like, are you still here, Robbie? Like, are we still in this together?
Yeah.
And he proved that we are. He might be a bit slower. He's definitely a bit slower, but he's still here. So, yeah, I need to see that from Vera.
Yeah. We'll see. Again, it's they seem to be pulling stuff off in terms of like we are starting to get some fights that are exciting again. And I think, I've done a lot of complaining this year.
Mm-hmm. We all have.
It's been a pretty good year. Like when you look at it on the whole, it's been
there was that deficit for 300. There was that deficit. We all recognized it. We all saw it. You can't put on a card like 300 without it, being what it was. But now that we're past that, the start of the year was like quite good leading up to 300. Then 300 was the dip. And now it seems like the UFC, now they're going into contract negotiations with ESPN, seem to be fucking determined to make sure they get the highest price they can for the next 7 years. And it's great.
No, 100%. Yeah. And the thing is, like it is a pretty sweet deal for them, the ESPN one, but I have a feeling that this next one could be what sets them off into the stratosphere on another level.
WWE just signed to Netflix,
which is interesting. And apparently they're going to, I don't know. I got a message from Antoine about this a couple of days ago. Apparently they can do joint cards, which I don't know how the fuck that's going to work out. You can imagine, some of those, the WWE and UFC are going to do joint cards where they have a mixture of WWE style matchups and UFC matchups in the same card.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no.
Can you imagine how, and some of these like WWE, I was going to say mongoloid again. I don't want to overuse that word. Those people who think it's real, and then they watch that fight, they watch those fights, and then they see it's spliced in between real fighting.
Yeah.
They're going to be very fucking confused.
Oh, yeah. I can see MMA fans like, how did they do that?
Why is his arm hanging off? How did they do that? These prosthetics are getting sick.
How did Jamal Hill's arm just snap like that? How's he going to be back next week? I could see MMA fans like Chad Hero clicking off, like fucking off. Just leave. Because I liked WWE when I was a little boy.
When I was 12. I think it was 12 was the cutoff point. Yeah.
I loved it. I genuinely loved it. Steve Austin was the sickest guy.
I loved it as well at that age.
I see any of the clips on Instagram, I laugh. I laugh out loud. And I am not fucking waking up at 5:30 in the morning.
And this is the thing. I'm not a mature individual, and I find that childish.
Yeah.
Whenever I bump into people who are my age and they say they watch that shit, I glide away from them very, very quickly, and you know, numbers are getting
Yeah,
blocked, and
yeah.
friendships are over based on that. I just find the whole thing it's fucking childish, mate.
It's
I
just
think
cringy.
it's cringy and stupid, is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
We're
So
probably
I hope that
insulting half the chat here who are like, no, it's motherfuckers, it's the shit. It's not.
that's
Fucking.
look.
It's not.
You're allowed to have different opinions to other people. You
But
can just enjoy
mind
us
you,
for the
yeah,
MMA stuff.
mind you, I haven't watched it in years, so I'm kind of speaking just out of my ass a little bit. I'm kind of being a.
No, well, that's the thing. We haven't seen it
I haven't
since we were
seen it.
kids. At my age, I'm not watching oiled up men playing touch bar. Yeah, I mean, it's already hard enough to be, to watch two fat heavyweights in their underwear grapple fuck each other, and be like, this is, I'm comfortable. I can watch this. We don't need to add on the
Yeah,
craziness.
all my friends in the UK who don't watch MMA, they accuse me of like that homoerotic stuff with UFC, ironically.
Yeah,
Because
no, that makes sense.
like, oh, it's just two dudes like rolling around, touching like, trying to finger each other's bums, and I'm like, fine, like I've got
It
nothing,
makes,
or whatever.
yeah,
Like
you're
you got
right.
me, like you got
You're
me.
right.
I'm not gonna try and convert you. And then whenever I try to get them to
Genuinely-
watch an event, that's exactly what happens. It's like
Yeah, it's the most shit boring
it
event
seems to
ever.
be a very heavy, grappling heavy card that one time that I tried to get them in. It's fucking frustrating, but I've given up.
Yeah, you're either into it or you're not. But I do hope that they do not do joint cards. That sounds horrible.
And it
Um,
would be. It would
I
be.
think them trying to get re-signed is to someone's TV deal is fucking awesome for us because again it feels like they've sorted out their shit with McGregor. There was a
Yeah.
moment during McGregor's last interview where they asked him about what do you think about Miocic? My laptop's not plugged in. I better plug that in. They asked him about Miocic versus John Jones, and he was being full on company man about it. So I do think they've got McGregor's ducks in line. They're trying to get the TV deals in line. WWE's already got themselves in with Netflix. If the UFC can go over to Netflix, this sport is going to go to the soccer level that Dana's been aiming for. Just chat with chat, and I'm gonna check my cords because it should be plugged in and it isn't.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that as well. I think them moving away from like a pay-per-view model as well would be really, really good for the sport in general, which is what that would facilitate. Just having it accessible at that level would definitely push things further. What do you guys think in the chat is going to happen regarding who do you think they'll go with? Do you think they'll re-sign with ESPN, or do you think they'll end up with someone with a streaming service like Netflix? And what do you feel? What impact do you reckon it will have? I guess. So yeah, why I stopped watching Ariel? He actually treats WWE like a sport. Yeah, Ariel's a fucking tool, man. I can't stand Ariel.
My cable needed a jiggle.
Perfect. I'm loving the blinds, man. I've got to change my background as well.
Well, this is a shared office between me and Jamie, so it's got both of our stuff. Like her desk chair's over there, and so it's much easier to just be like, done.
I've hired myself a nice little neon sign from China. That's as far as I'm willing to go in terms of changing the background.
Oh mate, it's a fucking $50 fold up wall. I did the UFC 300 stream from my brother's house, and I just took my wall with me. Anyway, I think if it goes to who was talking about this the other day? If it goes to Netflix, I do wonder if they fuck off pay-per-views entirely. I
think they will. I think Professor Morbius said. I think he said a very. I think it's going the way of the dodo anyway. I think they're gonna. Yeah. They want that guaranteed, and I think that's what their next deal is going to be about. I think what they'll do is they'll have a very similar thing to what they've got with ESPN, where like the first 500,000 of every card are automatically paid for by ESPN. They're going to look for a very similar deal with whoever they do the next time out. So they've got guaranteed money regardless of what happens. So what they want to do now is move away from having, we'll have pay-per-views and just have everything is either streamed or televised, and we bring more numbers in. And that's going to be the focus. I think making it even more mainstream. I can see that's where it's going.
What do you think happens to the fighters like Adesanya, McGregor, O'Malley, Usman that get good pay-per-view deals?
I think they're going to scrap pay-per-view points, and I think it will be I think it will be written into where they'll get they'll probably agree some kind of fixed fee, which is exactly what the UFC wants. Where they go, look, we're not doing pay-per-views anymore, so we can't give you pay-per-view points. It will be a case of, right, you get you get a flat fee probably as a champion for every time you fight. It will be something flat like $1 million or whatever the fuck it is.
Do you see any fighters? Do you see any fighters or any managers being smart enough to put it as a like YouTube analytics or affiliate where we can see your back end clicks and we get not pay-per-view points, but maybe click points? Like obviously more people are going to click on a Dustin Poirier pay-per-view than they're going to click on a Chito Vera pay-per-view.
Well, judging on how like the whole UFC, the class action lawsuit situation went, where a lot of fighters who are currently operating had no idea what was going on with that. It's very clear to me that the majority of the roster are not educated on how the whole system works in terms of, and even somebody who's as clued in as McGregor, who's all about his money. The reason why they were at an impasse for so long is because he didn't realize until the class action lawsuit came out how much money they were making and how much he thought, because I'm getting several million, I'm getting way more than every other UFC fighter, that I'm doing one over on the UFC here. I'm getting what's owed to me. Whereas when it actually came out that they were making X amount from pay-per-views, X amount from gate receipts, and he was getting this much, he was like, the fuck? I was making how much? And he realized he should have been getting. I don't think fighters are that clued in how the whole thing works.
Yeah,
I really don't. I think they'll get away with it. The UFC's been getting away with it for years. WWE's been getting away with it for years.
Overall, a Netflix deal would be better for the fighters or worse for the fighters?
I think it'd be worse. Any time the UFC steps forward and doing anything like this, it's always about siphoning off more money for them and siphoning off less for the fighters. Always about that. Anything the UFC does never benefits the fighters financially. It just doesn't. It never will. They're always going to be looking to, like I said, them being Endeavor now and being this big conglomerate, it's all about how much money they can make for the shareholders and it's about screwing more and more from the fighters. It always turns out to be that way.
Nice. All right, fair enough. Yeah. What else we got?
All right, let's have a look at what some of the chats are saying. It's funny, William, bringing this up. I think that the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight is going to be a very big indication of how big combat sports can be on a streaming platform. Maybe the UFC are waiting to see what happens with that.
Maybe Netflix are waiting to see what happens with that.
Yeah.
They've invested a ton of money into this move. I would predict, if I was the Netflix CEO, I would have your regular $14 a month Netflix subscription. But if you wanted live sports and we were bringing live sports onto our platform, I would be like, you've got Netflix regular and then Netflix Plus, which is $25 a month. And then you get boxing and UFC and da-da-da-da-da. I don't see them bringing in a whole new live sports aspect to their business and charging the exact same amounts. I don't think it would cover the price that they'd pay for it.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't really understand how they make, because once you've got a subscription, I mean, I'm not very clued in how the streaming system works, but it's kind of baffling to me in terms of how do they make their money in that way? Is it from them hoping they get new subscriptions as a result? Would that be the main thing that they're looking at? Because if you're already subscribed, you're just going to jump in and watch it, and then it's not going to, your money, they're not going to get more money on the night. They might get more eyeballs. I don't get how it works.
That's why I would think that they'd have to have an extra layer of subscription for live sports.
Yeah.
Because they're paying this new, like right now, Netflix, 100,000 users or whatever, 1 million users are paying their $10 a month. And what Netflix are doing is you'll see they've got things from all over the world and they're buying things at a certain production cost. So they know that if they're going to buy it for this much, this many people are going to watch it and that's going to cover the spread. Like their subscription for this month is going to cover the spread. With sport, you're going to pay the UFC for 500,000 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
You need to have that many people watching it to cover it. And I don't think that, I don't know Netflix's numbers, but I don't think the difference is there. So I think they would have to have an extra tier for live sports. But well, again, this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson thing is a fucking circus. And it makes sense that this is the fight that the world's biggest streaming platform, the world's biggest streaming platform is YouTube. The second biggest streaming platform in the world is dipping their toe into live sports with what might be the sports, like the combat world's biggest circus fucking ever. It's Jake Paul, the YouTuber, fighting Mike Tyson.
What a world. What a fucking world we live in.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, MMA.
MMA. The whole combat
MMA.
sports world has gone fucking bananas, to be honest. It's all weird.
4-1, boys. It's our only hope.
Yeah. There was one quick thing I wanted to ask you, actually, just as because this is something that I discussed in a video with it's another one I did with Making the Walk on his channel. What do you think about the start time for UFC 304?
Yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked. Like, you want to build this sport up to be sitting in Dana White's chair. You want to build this sport up to be global, turn it into soccer, have every region pumping and making money. The Europeans are a locked in, massive fan base that you're still trying to grow, but also service so they stay involved and stay in love with the sport. So much like soccer, when you're moving it, or the F1, when you're moving it around regionally, you're making it for when it lands in that city, it feels like that whole city comes alive and gets around that sport. You're making it an event for that city. To make the start time for 304 what they've done, it takes away from Leon Edwards' value as a product of the UFC, because it shows that they don't have the confidence of him being able to carry his own card in his own region. But also it does a massive disservice to the entire European region, because you're pretty much telling them, like, you're a fucking fan and you'll fucking put up with whatever time we tell you it's on. You're going to watch it anyway, rather than being like, I mean, Alexa Grasso, they'll put her on UFC Fight Pass. They'll put her on the UFC rankings with her own special belt to be like, come on, Mexicans, fucking get around it, cunts. You know, like, why are we not doing that for every one of these regions that you are supposedly – the only way we're going to get to the next level is by making us soccer's competitor, not baseball's competitor. Yeah. So, yeah, the timing is very indicative of we don't give a fuck. We've already got you, Europeans. We're not trying to grow you.
But that was the baffling thing to me, because it's like, if this was your plan to do this year, why did you make it a pay-per-view? I mean, you could have had the exact same card as a fight night and then just thrown it on that time. And speaking to American fans, they're like, we don't give a fuck if the pay-per-view's on at 3:00 in the afternoon. If anything, that's better.
Yeah.
I don't mind tuning in at 3:00 in the afternoon and paying for a pay-per-view, and then the main event is on at 7:00 in the evening. Like, so the American audience don't really seem to care about it. Because the thing is, whatever time it's on, they seem to win anyway. They either watch it in the evening or they watch it early afternoon.
Early afternoon is better.
It just seems like a baffling decision to me. It's like, it's a slap in the face. It's like, if you're going to do that, you might as well just, because I don't think anyone, if they'd made this card just a regular fight night and had the exact same lineup, it would have got the exact same amount of people would have watched it, maybe even more, because they don't have to pay pay-per-view on it. And you could have put it at UK regular time, because I'm planning on going to this event, and it's one of those ones where it's like, I'm going to be outside as a 40-year-old man watching an event until fucking 5:00 in the morning outside.
Yeah, to watch Leon Edwards dance around Bilal.
I mean, I'm gonna go because the event's crazy, and there's so many fighters on there that I have stock in, like not just Leon, but like obviously with Tom Aspinall, and I'm a big Manel Cap fan as well, so I'm jonesing to see him live. So I'm gonna go, but it's gonna be like, I'm not happy about that. I think it's such a disrespect.
But that answer, like the answer you just gave, is literally and Morbius. I do remember Yair's belt, but I bring up Grasso's belt because it's still on the UFC website. Like, it's on the official rankings website. She's the only one. You go to the website and she has her own regional belt. In like, if you're a brand new MMA fan, you go to the UFC landing page to get your head around the sport, and for some reason she gets her own regional belt. No one else gets that. Why? Because of pretty much This is the answer that Bad Math just gave. Well, I'm invested in Manel Cap. I'm invested in these fighters. I want to go there and see them. So I'm a 40-year-old dad. I got to fucking look after my kids in the morning, but I'm going to be outside at 5 a.m. in the morning watching this anyway because they don't give a fuck once you're already on the hook, which sucks.
It really does.
And we are like, we're on the hook. We're sitting here talking about it, making content about it. And even if we weren't the ones making content about it, like during the pandemic when the UFC was on, or like any time there's like political bullshit going on or family bullshit going on or work bullshit going on, it's always good to just have like MMA is like this. We don't need to talk about all of that, you know? Who's going to win? Who's going to win between Cheeto and Vera? Let's think about that for a bit. It's like almost relaxing in a way.
Have you been to any live events yourself? We talked about this a little bit briefly off before we came on. Have you ever been to a UFC event live?
No, I've been to Muay Thai events in Thailand live. You know, big fight tonight, super fight.
I love this. If you want to see robberies, if you want to see real robberies, fucking kickboxing events in Thailand. Fuck me,
mate. I'm like,
I saw when I was there recently. I saw a fight where this Chinese fighter was fighting a Thai fighter, and the Chinese fighter literally knocked the Thai fighter down 10 times.
Yeah,
and they called it a draw. The Thai fighter did fuck all. He literally got slapped around for like 5 rounds.
Like, good decent fight.
We can't really give him the. We'll make it a draw. That won't seem suspicious at all. Fucking filth.
I love it, mate. Brilliant. There's nothing better than being on Bungal Road at 4 o'clock in the morning with a cold beer in your hand that costs $2, watching two 15-year-olds kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah, oh yeah. They were suspiciously young looking as well. I got to say that.
Yeah. So I cannot justify paying $700, $500. I can't justify $300 to go to our arena here, which is called the MCG, which is an outdoor arena with plastic bucket seats, where you're only allowed to buy 2 mid-strength beers, and it's got about 4 toilets in it for 100,000 people. That doesn't sound.
Oh my god!
Like, I don't even go to the footy. I'll watch the footy, but I won't go to the footy. Yeah.
They're not prepared. It's like I'm gonna go to the Bellator cards in Dublin. And I'm fairly near the front row, and I paid like $150 or something.
That's great. That's good.
I mean, really, it's Bellator, so I'm surprised it wasn't. I'm surprised it wasn't a
live event. You know what I mean? I'm surprised it's open. I'm surprised they're still putting the event on. We've got Eternal here. I've looked at the tickets for that. It's about $80. So I think when Eternal comes down to Melbourne, I'll go with my brother. Yeah, go watch Eternal.
I'm going to be curious to see what because I'm planning on obviously I'm definitely going to 3 or 4 whatever I have to do, but I'm curious to see what the tickets will be like at retail, because they're not going to be cheap. No, especially where I'm looking to sit as well. I'm probably looking at $700-800 a ticket just for, and that's assuming I can get a ticket when they first go, because it gets fucking overloaded with scalpers and people who bought the whole thing up, buy everything up, and then resell them. So I'm like, I know I'm going to take a humongous hit, because I don't want to. I'm not going if I'm in the nosebleeds and I have to look at a big screen. If that's how it's going to be, I'm not going. There's no point. I mean, I know the atmosphere will be great, but like, I'm not watching. I'm not paying $3,000 for the atmosphere.
Yeah. No, you need to see what happens. But I don't know. What's your like? Actually, I won't ask that. But yeah, someone's got to have a budget at some point to be like, that's not worth it. That's not.
No, I think, like I said, if I'm like front row, not front row, but where I can see the cage from where I'm at clearly.
Yeah.
The highest I'd probably go is $1.5 a ticket.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
It might cost that much. Yeah,
which is
I know. It might cost that much.
I would.
Yeah.
And my hope is
you're an invested fan.
That's the thing. And my hope is that because of the time that it's on, that a lot of fans are going to be like, I'm not going there until 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not paying X amount. And so I'm hoping that will factor into the fact that it might make availability slightly easier. But I don't know.
I'm interested to see how the audience sounds. The European audience usually sounds like crazy. Whenever we're in Paris or in England, it sounds amazing. Yeah. Even Bellator cards and Cage Warrior cards in Ireland sounds amazing. I wonder how badly it's going to kill the vibe being at 3 a.m. in the morning, especially if Bilal and Edwards
Oh fuck me!
perform
That's the
the way
last
we
card
predict
you
they're
want.
going to.
That's the last fight you want at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're running on fumes and you've got Bilal trying to fuck his leg. I'm man. They should have had that opening the prelims.
Title fight opening.
Get it out the
You're
way.
right.
Like
You're
yeah.
right. You're right. All right. Let's go for 5 more minutes because we've been going for about an hour and a half. Chat, is there anything in particular that you want us to cover that we haven't covered yet?
I'll focus in on the chat now.
Scroll through the chat. Is there anything that we missed that you guys wanted us to talk about while we've been talking to each other? Yeah, chuck it in there.
I think we've been pretty good at covering the chat today. To be fair, it's been pretty.
We'll get better. Yeah, I think we'll be all right.
It's getting more fluid for sure. I'm loving the
Yeah.
fact that everything's just here. You know, we can like.
Yeah, this is much easier than last time.
Really, the interface
All
definitely
screens
helps.
open.
The interface definitely helps. But yeah, is there anything pressing that you guys have that you really want us to address coming up to the And by the way, just a reminder to, if you can like, that would be great. If you can, if you're not subscribed to me, subscribe, and vice versa.
Yes, vice versa. Also, if you're listening back to this ever, hit the like button as well because it does help push it out. So it all helps build the channel, guys. It all helps build the channel.
Yeah, I don't know how the whole thing works. But apparently everyone says it. So liking and commenting and all that stuff.
It helps push it all forward. All right. If the chat's not going to throw anything at us, what do we got for one last thing to cover?
I quite like this one.
Okay.
How will your night be if Aspinall gets KO'd and Leon gets dry home for 25 minutes? Fucking devastating. Devastating. I might be suicidal at the end of that. It'd be pretty bad.
Be everyone. That'll be like, this is what we wait.
I don't think it's just UK fans that. I don't think many people. I think even non-UK fans want Leon to beat the fuck out of. No one wants Bilal as champion. No one wants to endure that shit. Like
there was a movement of Bilal deserves this, and he does deserve this, but it's a movement of like
he doesn't deserve the belt. Let's be very clear.
Like this should have been the co-main event of any other card. Well, not a co-main event of any other card. Should have been the co-main event of a card with a decent fucking main event. To be like, give Bilal a shot, get out of the way, done. There you go. You had your go now. Fuck off.
So yeah, fuck off, mate. And that's the thing. If you see the first round of that fight, I'm fully convinced that Leon's gonna beat the fuck out of him. I really am. Like,
yeah,
I'm very convinced that it's gonna be, you know, an easy night's work for Leon. Yeah. And Leon genuinely doesn't like the guy. So if you saw, and I saw some like video montages of this on Twitter where they had Leon pressing forward and beating the fuck out of Bilal. He didn't really do anything to him, and then they do that alongside his fight with Colby, who basically went at his dead dad, and he's just, you know, like it's weird. It's weird how those two things.
And Leon's like, I'm going to make him pay, but I think because Leon got so emotional in that one with Colby, his coaches were like, just chill the fuck out, don't rush in against address the rumors of Hamzat's war crime. I think you're talking about Hamzat's boss, not Hamzat himself, mate. And of course, it's from AZ.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Kadyrov is an interesting character, isn't he? Sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. No, I was going to read this one. Yeah, I was moving on. I think they should tell Bilal he's getting his title shot and then just take him to a big farm somewhere. Oh, God. Yeah, like, I don't think Bilal's going to win it. I don't think he is. I'd be fairly convinced now that Leon's going to be able to do what he needs to do. But I don't think it's going to be very, very interesting. And I think the timing of the card, the way that the fight is going to play out, all of it is probably going into the UFC's contract negotiations with Leon Edwards. There is one thing that I wanted to point out about the Leon Bilal fight is that Leon has been getting so much shit about being a inactive fighter, and he has been very inactive in the past. But for this particular fight, this isn't Leon's fault, and it's so easy to be like he's been so inactive for so long to blame him for this. But he wanted to be on 300. He offered to be on 300. He tried to be. That would have made him fight December last year, April this year. That's a normally active
It's
fight.
roughly every 4 or 5 months. Since he got the belt, it's been every 4 or
Yeah,
5 months, which is
which
what you
is
want from a champion, really.
normal. Yeah, and they've held him off till Manchester because they're playing this regional game. So these
Mm,
fighters, like even Izzy and Drickus, they're being held up for Perth. Like the
yeah.
UFC's new plan of like, and it is new. It is relatively new from the UFC because they're not only going to ESPN and being like, you pay us for pay-per-view deals, but they're also going to certain cities like Perth and Sydney and London and Abu Dhabi and being like, you pay us to come here and put on events. So now they need to hold back talent to feed these regions because cities are actually paying for the UFC to bring the show to them. So
And
it's
with the
making the
ticket
fighters
prices
more and
going
more
up as
active.
well, they kind of need to do that. You need to have like regional guys who are there, and I
Yeah.
fully get it. And I agree. I
Yeah.
agree with Chad here. I think like Leon is I think I find him quite interesting to watch. You know, as someone
Mhm.
who's like an MMA purist, like I enjoy watching him adapt to different people's style, and I don't think he's somebody who's unexciting to watch. And also, if you
Mhm.
see a lot of his I think it's his voice that kind of fucks him up a bit because he sounds like a boring twat. But like
Mhm.
he's actually got quite an interesting, funny personality as well. And you see some of his. I thought his whole interaction with Usman, for example, was. I thought that whole interaction between the two of them was quite funny.
Mhm.
I don't get the Leon hate. I think it's kind of maybe it's me being a Brit kind of where I'm going to side with him, but I don't side. I don't get behind Paddy. I'm not that kind of person. I don't get behind Gary
Yeah.
as an Irishman. I don't give a fuck.
I think it's just styles, man. Like Chad here, I know likes Leon. Like I think it's
Mm,
just styles, man. Like for me, I love like Muay Thai forward pressure. Like I like really reckless, like not so much reckless, but I like a lot of good forward pressure and a lot of good action. A lot of good action. But to like other fans, that can be seen as like sloppy, bad fighting, which is, a fair criticism. With Leon, it is very like clean, adaptable, calculated, and that has a fan base for it. It's just certain people prefer certain things. Like you see the Americans, they love like wrestling. A lot of
yeah,
them like went to college, did wrestling in high school. So when
yeah,
they
yeah.
see good wrestling, they get around it. So it's just another one of those things that makes the sport interesting, where it's not only regional talent that you like some people might just get behind every Aussie because they're Aussies. Not very deep thinking. But you've
Yeah.
also got like certain styles of fighters that you like. Manel Cap, nothing in common with Manel Cap, but
Mhm.
he's got that classic Muay Thai sort of stance and striking, like great to watch. Big Manel
Yeah,
Cap fan.
yeah.
So it's what makes the sport so interesting.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. I couldn't agree with that more. Like and I do think they're getting better at building cards in that way where they do consider the stylistic interest from it as well. Where you
Mm,
kind of get more of those, you kind of get styles that suit different regions, and they do try to
mm,
build cards that way. So
mm.
it is
It's the
fascinating.
direction we're going in, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm very excited about June. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm kind of glad as well that we got a break this week. I kind of felt like it was
Mm,
good timing because I thought the St. Louis card. I don't like St. Louis. St. Louis card was
mm.
way better than what I was expecting.
Same.
And last week was an absolute stinker. I mean, I know we had the Fury and Usyk thing going on, um, but that card was dead. So I felt like it's a nice little break now. We go into 302, which I don't think is the most stacked card in the world anyway, but I've got high expectations for this one. I think it's going to be good.
I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna be good. They're like just cards where like they don't need to be the most hyped thing in the world. I am very, very hyped for Dustin Poirier. Um, but I mean, like even Apex cards that aren't the most exciting Apex cards, they end up being fun because we're just fight fans. And you're right. There seems to be like we were just coming towards the end of that UFC 300 dip with what just happened. So it feels like we put a pause on all that now. That is definitely behind us. There's sick matchups set up for June. Then we're getting like into Connor season as well. I know it's at June, but like it feels like July-ish because it's the end of
Yeah,
June. But like we're getting into Connor season, and then once we're past Connor season, it's almost like we're going like regional again. We're going into Saudi, we're coming down to Australia, we're getting back into like the regional mix-up and finishing off the year in New York with John Jones. I think the rest of the year is clean sailing for MMA fans. Like it's just sit back and watch the show from now on. Enjoy.
Yeah, we've got a lot to look forward to. So William, in terms of your cruiserweight, I'm assuming you're not lining that up with boxing. Would you think? Are you talking about a 165 or like an in between light heavyweight and heavyweight? I'm interested to know what a cruiserweight division would look like and where the cutoff point would be.
I couldn't picture a weight class between light heavyweight and heavyweight. The talent pool
I
between
don't think they'll ever do that.
already.
Yeah, it's so shallow. I do think that sooner or later we will get a 165 though.
I would hope so. I would
Yeah.
hope so.
I can see them
would hope
pushing welterweight to 175 and then just letting everything else line itself up.
I would have thought that this fight with Connor coming up would have been the perfect time
to introduce it. It would have been.
Yeah. Then you get Connor as a champion again, easy, make him milk that for a year. Maybe they genuinely want to just see where everything, like we're in a very volatile moment behind the scenes. You got the Netflix thing, you got Connor coming back. How's he going to look? You got us up, MMA, I mean, UFC up for a new TV deal. Like we're in a very, let's just see what happens within the next 12-month period. And if you're going to play with Connor, how old's Connor? He's 35, 34?
I think he's 30. Let me check. It might be 35. I thought 33, but he's not that young now. I'm pretty sure.
No, I don't think he is.
I think he's 35. I'm almost sure.
We haven't got long left. We have not 35. Got long left. Connor.
35, yeah.
If they don't do it within the next 12
months.
Think
about how much of his fucking prime he's wasted as well. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, since he was 31, he's fought twice. I think.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really, really sad. And Connor could have been him, the mythical fighter that would have come one day to win 3 belts at 3 divisions. He could have been him with the right matchup, but instead it might be Alex Pereira.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, we've got a lot to look forward to, and I'm jazzed for this. I'm jazzed for this card. I'm jazzed for this month. As much as I complain, I fucking love this sport, and I'm looking forward to the vast variety of cards that are coming up. And as you said, the fact that there's a lot more regional things to look forward to. I'm really excited about that as well.
No, it's good. It's a good time to be an MMA fan. And bitching and complaining is part of the fun.
Yeah. You know how us Brits just love it. I get off on having a good complaint.
It's in your blood, mate. It's in your blood.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up, boys. Let's wrap it up. Thank you everyone for jumping in and joining us. It's been good fun. I think we're going to try and keep doing these, me and Bad Math. It's good to have the back and forth and do a bit of a sort of a live podcast.
Yeah, for sure. And again, the setup kind of makes it a little bit easier. I feel like we've definitely taken a massive. If you want to see how we did the first one and see how unprofessional that shit was, go back and have a look at that and have a good laugh. That was a production nightmare. That was the first one. Probably because we didn't even have a talk beforehand. We just went, right, we'll jump on, and there we go.
Yeah, this should work.
No wonder it went. Yeah, it's gonna work. We're both fucking great at this. Yeah, it'll be fine.
I'm not just a plasterer with a fucking smartphone. This is definitely going to work. For guys who want to watch my channel, I'm going to go have some lunch, say hi to Jamie, and then I'll be back on in like an hour and we'll do like a Sunday afternoon chill out stream because I'm taking it easy today. So if you're going to be awake, come and join me for that.
I'll probably jump into the chat for that one as well.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. It is going to be a vertical stream, boys. I'm sorry, but hey, it's all part of the big push. Subscribe to Bad Math as well. He does a lot of good stuff with Making the Walk. Am I getting that channel?
Yeah, Making the Walk MMA. Yeah,
Making the Walk as well. Yeah, a lot of good conversational stuff like that. If you enjoyed this more than you enjoyed my usual live streams, you're probably going to enjoy Bad Math and Making the Walk a lot more because it is a lot like flowy and conversational rather than just me ranting stupidly.
I love your rants, man. Let's not sell it short here. I live for your rants, sir. Let's not downplay it.
But that's it. That's my piece. So Bad Math, if you want anything else to say, it's all you.
And also same for anyone who's in my channel. Subscribe to Dougie's Corner. Like I said, you're gonna get videos every day. There's a lot of live streaming content, which is something that is kind of missing from my side of things. So a lot of reacting to what's happening as it's happening, which is always valuable. And you always get great takes and good interaction in the chat. It's Dougie's got a nice little band of merry men behind you. That's the loyalty you get from that is amazing. So
don't go to the Discord.
Go to the Discord as well.
Don't go to the Discord. Don't go to the Discord. Jesus Christ. What a bunch of idiots.
I need to jump on it. Like I just
Oh,
need to get on it as
Jesus
well.
Christ.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, that's it then. I'm gonna go, everybody.
Cheers,
Yeah,
guys.
have
Thanks
a
to
good
everyone who
day. Have a
turned
good
up.
night.
Much appreciated.
Frankie, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure.
As always.
As
Take it
always.
easy, guys.
See you guys.